If you are a creative, you must have had inspirations early on when you started to move in this journey. People who you admire, people's work who you really liked and resonated with. It might even have happened that the art form was different. Maybe you listened to somebody's music, or watched a movie, or watched a TV show, which inspired you to make something. For me, it was very similar. I remember the first time I watched Harry Potter, I was moved by the music so much that it influenced the way I like to present my artwork. I saw that the visuals were presented with an ambience music. And since that time, I've been a really big fan of using some kind of ambience music in my artworks. And it has impacted my journey as a creative a lot. So, if you are a creative, you must have had inspirations and also took inspiration from different art forms. What I think really happens with creatives is that they don't just develop skills, but in their journey of creativity, they develop a really strong taste. And I believe that taste is more important than skills. I think that taste brings in that swag factor which skills cannot bring. Imagine there are two hills, like this is the hill of skills and this is the hills of swagger, alright? And I really believe that people who have reached the top of this mountain, which is the skill mountain, can still not substitute having this thing, which is swagger. And how do you develop that? Is by having a taste of yourself. This is especially relevant, and I wanted to make a video about this because of looking at so much repeated content throughout the whole internet. It feels like everybody is doing the same shit, especially with the help of AI. Literally, 99% of the people don't have their own voice. Everything is scripted with the help of ChatGPT. Is it illegal to do so? Does it kill your creativity? Does it make you a bad creative person? I leave that thinking to yourself. For me, I believe it's a tool. But the problem that has arrived due to that is the downfall of this hill. Taste. People don't have taste anymore. That's just my opinion. So, I think that taste is more important than the skill itself. You can have half the skill and still have the taste, the right taste to cater towards the right audience and have your own voice. And because of having taste, it is hard for your art form to be diluted by something else. The more and more I'm realizing this, the more and more I feel that I am not limited to a platform or an art style or a medium. Medium is the right word. I'm not limited to a medium. Right now I'm making this video. I have never made videos in my life like this, where I'm talking to somebody on the camera and trying to put my thoughts across. It's another form of storytelling. And why did I tap into that is because storytelling as an art form is something I've always been interested in. With the help of music, with the help of speaking in a way you speak, with the help of conveying real and raw emotions, I've always been interested in that feeling. When I was an illustrator, I still am, I used to chase that feeling of conveying some real life emotion through your illustrations. Like, one of the first things that drove me crazy was seeing Piccolo's illustrations of humanifying superheroes. He used to do this Teen Titans series where he would put them in their human lifestyle. Like, what do they do when they're not just kicking supervillains' ass? They're just normal human beings with superpowers, of course. So, how do they use that in their real life? How do they act as normal? How do they just live their normal life when they're not being superheroes? That was such a cool idea to me. And that developed my taste towards liking these kind of things. Having a real feeling to your illustration where there is fantasy, but there is also a touch of realism. or mixing some hypothetical thing to create contrast with the reality itself. That's how I used to like planning my illustrations. That drove a lot of projects also, which I did in the future. And I feel that taste is being carried forward in the video format I make as well, because I like to make videos which feel like you are sitting in front of me and just talking to me. And I really don't prepare to make these videos apart from thinking about them, that what I want to speak. So I feel like it brings out that characteristic of a YouTuber who is presenting you something as a YouTube video, but it's as close to the talk he would do if you were to sit with him in real life. I'm not trying to create the perfect lighting over here. I'm not trying to create something which might feel like it has been designed a set around for, which is what Teen Titans do when they're fighting villains. They're designed to fight the evil so-called storyline of the whole superhero thing. You know what I'm talking about. They're designed to do that, and when they do that, it feels like they're in the correct place. They're doing what they're supposed to do. This is what, like for YouTube, a YouTube video should be well scripted. A YouTube video should have all these important things, all the different complicated aspects of it, like, share, subscribe, intro, outro. I don't know. Like there are tens and thousands of things which you could add to a YouTube video to make it more like a YouTube video, more like a LinkedIn post, more like an Instagram format which goes viral. But what I am trying to build is something which I drove from the similar taste I had about illustrations. So what I'm trying to speak here is that building your taste is really important, because it separates you from the other people who are trying to do the same thing. I am sure there are millions of people right now who are making similar kind of videos, but what makes me different from them is my taste, not my ability to film videos, not my ability to tell stories in a way which I speak, not my ability to use this language, and not even my environment or my situation. What is different for me is me in itself. I am living an experience where everything is unique to me. My journey is something which I can talk about the most, and I know about this journey more than anybody in this world. So that's what I'm trying to present on YouTube, which is my journey in its purest form and my thoughts, so that some people find value in it. So yeah, this has been a lesson for me as a creative, which is not to focus too much on your skills, but to have a taste. If you want to have more information about this, there is this book called The Creative Act. And honestly, I will tell you the truth, I haven't read the full thing, not even half of it. I just read the first couple of pages, and from that moment I got this idea, and that idea has stuck with me in everything I think about. Even while building our studio spot, which is a design studio we have been working on since the last 1 year, along with three of my friends. So we also apply the same thing there, which is to not really worry too much about the skills, but to have a particular taste where people would like to get things done from you because of the way you do things, because of who you are, and because of your personality in general. There are many people who could accomplish the same thing. There are many reasons in a business as well. So I'm not saying that they just choose us because of our personality. Maybe that's a budget issue as well. There could be multiple things. But as a creative, I feel like the more you understand the type of things which you enjoy, and the more you deep dive into those things and try to incorporate that into your life, the more naturally you start to create things. And as natural things are for you, as simplified things are for you, the easier it becomes for you to create more of it, the easier it becomes for you to have planning of it already done in your life, so that you could just convert that lesson into any form of art, It could be expressing it through an illustration. It could be expressing it through music, videos, etc. So yeah, don't, for me, that has been a lesson, that don't try to overcomplicate anything that's already inbuilt in your life. Simplify it as much as you can, enjoy the process, and keep it going. Cheers.